Hey everyone, it's JT from Hoagie's Garage. I have a product review installation to do today. In front of me here is a 2013 Chevrolet Sonic LTZ with the 1.4 liter turbo engine. Not the quickest car on the planet, not the slowest either, but you do get the turbo motor. It is pretty zippy for you. ZZP Performance sent us out the cold air intake that they sell for this. Very simple system. You have the air intake filter, silicone elbow, and then this is probably the craziest piece of the whole thing, the I guess air tube if you want to call it that, but it has the spot for mass airflow, has the mounting brackets all covered in rubber, and it even has this little liner here that is meant to be on if your car has a stock PCM tune, which this one does. And you actually get instructions with this too. We did a review, if I don't drop this off of there, we did a review on the ZZP Cobalt SS engine mount, and it didn't really have any instructions at all short of what you can find online, so we did that right up on the site. But this has detailed instructions. You're going to follow them to the T, install them on this car. It's totally stock, about 25,000 miles. So without rambling too much like some of my commenters dislike, I'm going to get right to removing the stock air intake, and we'll go from there. So stick with me here through the installation process, and then afterwards I'll kind of let you know what we think of it and how it goes overall. So thanks for watching. Here we go. Okay, so this is the stock motor Ecotec 1.4 liter turbo in the Sonic. There's our air box coming down to the tube here and leading down that way. A couple things to notice: there's a clamp there, another clamp here, a clamp and the mass airflow sensor right there, and then of course your box up at the top. First step obviously is to remove all these items. I apologize in advance if the camera's shaky. I'll do my best here to make it nice and smooth so you can tell what I'm doing. But this is probably one of the times I would be the most careful, because you do have to reuse some parts and you don't want to break anything and lead to a costly trip to the dealership for mass airflow sensor, wiring harnesses, or anything like that. So stock motor, nothing's done to this car whatsoever. So let's go ahead and start disassembling this, and I'll kind of tell you what I'm doing as we go along here. One of the first steps it asks you to do is remove the clamp down here that hooks into the turbo inlet. This kind of cast thing right here, that's your turbo inlet, because your turbo's down there. It's not like overly big or anything, but it's down there. One thing, you can use a screwdriver with these guys, but I've liked to use these, they're called nut drivers of all things. You just put it on there, it makes a nice clean catch, and then you just unscrew this guy right there. Kind of unscrew it enough so it gives you some wiggle room to play in there. This thing's a big silencer, so I'm assuming when we get rid of that, I mean it is an elbow type thing, but I'm assuming when we get rid of that it's going to be considerably louder. You're going to hear more intake and turbo noise, because I think there's some baffling in there, but we'll see when we take it apart. I'm kind of doing this my own way, but I'm loosely following the instructions because all this has to come out no matter what. So they want you to bring it out as one piece. That's fine. I'm going to remove these screws right here that hold the top of the air box on. They are a Torx. I have in my hand a T25, and that's kind of what you would do anyways to change the air filter itself. So I'm going to remove those here, and then that should take this top section here, should be able to come off and kind of see more what's going on. And I should also be able to remove this tube down here from off the turbo inlet. So I'll go ahead and unscrew those and then show you what we got. Alright, so these screws are out. They're pretty large if you see them here. They're Torx, what did I say, T25 I believe. I'm going to save them just because I'm saving all this, because I mean really it's kind of stupid not to. It is good quality factory parts, so if I do have an issue down the road, I need to replace it, sell the car, I can take it back to stock. This is probably one of the, I guess, maintenance areas if you're keeping this stock. You probably need to know. These little tabs here slide out of there, and then you can see all the water here. But there's our factory air filter, and it's actually got a lot of grubby fingerprints on from oil change places. Not too dirty, but that's our air box. And then the filter. And this guy, if you can see here, I mounted the camera up on the hood because I need both my hands here. But this guy should come off here if I don't break everything in the process. Like that. And the end's still down on there. I'm going to have to pull that off, but you can see that popped out of there. Some form of looks like a water absorbing packs or something in there from the factory, so that's interesting. But that's our whole air tube. Mass airflow sensor is still in there, by the way. That's going to need removed for the ZZP setup. So there's that. Get that out of the way. And then this guy, that's the sleeve right there, and that I don't believe is going to be reused either. So there we go. Next is I believe removing the airbox. We'll see what happens here. The factory instructions mention something about a drain on this, but I don't really see it unless it's this big guy down here. But that, to me, I feel like that's for fresh air, but whatever. It says just to pull this right out, and it should, I think it's connected down here with like a push-in connector. Yep. And then these on the side here, so if you look, it was caught on those 2 points right there, and actually right there on the back, up in this guy up there. So if I put the light on here, kind of see there's our whole deal. Next thing we need to do is start getting the new parts ready, but that's sort of most of it removed right from the factory. So kind of crazy. There's water everywhere once again. It's just because the engine was just cleaned. So factory airbox removed, and we'll see, make sure we have everything out when we start to put all this back together with the new stuff. Alright, so the factory air tube and air lid, it's all back. What we need to do is remove, this is the mass airflow sensor. That's one of the few, I think the only part, short of a bolt or something, is going to be reused. I'd say be the most careful with this part because these aren't cheap, especially if you have to go buy it from the dealership. It's a T20 Torx, and they're just right in there, and not too tight or anything, but those just unscrew. I'll show you this part because I want to see how this comes out. I haven't done this yet. Don't lose these screws because you don't need them for the ZZP kit, but like I said, if you decide to go factory again, if you get rid of the car or something like that, you're going to need them to put into there. And they're not like crazy weird or anything, but it's just easier to have them. This comes out, and that's our mass airflow sensor. It's a Bosch. It's got a seal on there. A lot different than the cars I'm used to, LS based, but that's pretty much it. It fits right in that little slot there, and it's going to go right into our ZZP air tube next. So that's the mass airflow sensor removal. And before I forget, or before I lose these, I'm going to just kind of start these screws back in here, just to secure them so I don't lose them. And that's that. Alright, so the next move, I'm going to do it before I break it here, is install the mass airflow sensor into the ZZP tube. These are the screws. They give you little Allen head stainless steel jobs. They I got a Allen T-handle here to number 4 metric. It doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to add just a tick of Loctite onto these just because I don't want these to rattle out, and that could kind of cause a major issue, I feel like, if we lose these or our mass airflow sensor. Just using a Loctite stick there, not a whole lot, just enough. One thing I kind of thought of as I was taking that apart, the mass airflow sensor, it can kind of go either way, but the holes are only fit one way, so you really can't screw that up. But they, if you put it in wrong, I'll show you here, the holes don't line up. So, you know, if you're kind of wondering, it does have to go a certain way because the airflow hits it and it measures it and does all that stuff. So you kind of push it into here because there's a seal, that green seal you saw there, and now it's in there. I'm just going to finger start these new screws into here so I don't cross thread. There's one, and the other one should go in fairly easily straight. This is the major money, where your money's going for this on the parts. I mean, the air filter isn't anything crazy, neither is the silicone coupler, but this is where all the engineering is. I mean, to fit that mass airflow sensor, these welds, and then to line up with the bracket, which we'll do here soon, that's where all the stuff's going for this. That's what took the most time, I think, from ZZP to get this kit together. So these get tightened into here, pretty straightforward. I'm just going to snug them up. I mean, you don't have to gorilla torque them because it's not really going anywhere. Plus, you're turning plastic to metal, so I don't want to break the mass airflow sensor on there. But at least now I know it's kind of protected, and I'm not going to break it, messing around here. So that's that. Mass airflow sensor is installed. You can see it in there now. And next step is we're going to start to install this whole thing. One more removal step, which I haven't needed to do yet, but it is in here. Under here, there's your motor mount right there, that big guy. It actually looks real similar to the Cobalt one we did. You have to remove this first bolt. It's 15 millimeter, and I have an extension, 1/2-inch drive, and it should just, I don't know how tight it is, we'll see here. Not too bad. Just kind of take that guy out of there, because that's where our air tube's going to mount. It's for more stability than anything. I'm assuming ZZP knows that this isn't totally crazy, and removing a motor mount bolt won't ruin everything. But that's our motor mount bolt. You could add a little Loctite to that if you really want to after you go to reinstall it. But next is we're going to fit everything here loosely and go from there. This is going to be sort of where it all comes together. This is our silicone, I guess 90-degree angle, if you want to call it that. This goes onto the turbo and then to the ZZP tube right there. Big tip is don't tighten the clamps until the very end. You get everything fitted. And also these clamps, make sure you have them lined up. You don't want them like backwards or upside down so you can't get to the screws to tighten them. Kind of a tight fit. I just sort of test fit it. This guy, if you can tell, kind of get out of the way here, fits over the turbo like so. And it does spin if you need it to, but it is a tight fit. And that's pretty much down all the way as far as I can get it. The next move here is you have to fit it onto there, onto your tube, which is pretty simple. Sliding it in probably a little too far, but you need to be able to catch this bolt back here again. So I think that's pretty decent right there. I'm going to start this bolt. I think first I'm going to just hit it with just a little bit of Loctite just because I'm paranoid here. Probably overkill. And I'm going to try to finger start this bolt for the motor mount. Okay, and that's in there. So that's the tube, the coupler, 90-degree angle coupler, and then our clamps are here. Kind of just get those in position where you can tighten them in the right spot. Just like so. So there's that. A little tip here, this just kind of occurred to me when I was fitting all this. I'm going to tighten this bolt down first because that's the one that really can't move. I mean, it's going to fit in one way, and that's pretty much it. And these other clamps I can mess with after. But I'm going to get this torqued down to kind of the spec there where it felt pretty much just like stock. I'm sure there's a torque spec, but that's pretty good for now. And you can see it's pretty tight in there. There's a rubber grommet down where that bolt is, so it's not going to be like a solid mount. You can tell the whole motor moves too. Next thing is I'm going to push these down, double check my fitment, and then tighten these clamps. And then we'll move to the filter and mass airflow plugging in and see what happens. Alright, this part, 2 steps right here. In the instructions they say this big thing about flipping over this mass airflow sensor plug, but on this application it just seemed to go, second guess myself here, right in, and then I slide the red lock back on, and that's it. Here's our AEM filter. kind of standard universal filter. Just make sure you can get to your clamp when you put it on. And it kind of is a weird fit because of that little sleeve inside the tube. But that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah. Then tighten your clamp, and that should be the end of it. So that's pretty much it. I ran through, checked all the clamps. There's 3 of them. Checked the motor mount bolt again. Mass airflow sensor is good. That's it. Not too bad of an install, and kind of run through some other stuff here, performance-wise, sound-wise, and see what's what after the install. But the hard part's done. That's the sound of the ZZP cold air intake. It's been installed on this Sonic for about a month now, and I kind of wanted to just drive it for a while, get a feel for it, and see how everything's working, double check everything, and then sort of report back the findings when it was all done. So like you said, it's been about a month. Just had a fresh oil change done, and honestly, with this intake installed, the car has never run better. It's got this weird feeling where this car's never been good in high RPMs, and this didn't fix that. It really didn't. But in that low RPM range, like I'm looking 2 to 4,500 RPMs, it does feel torquier. It does have a little more oomph in that range. So, you know, when you're merging onto the highway, if you are, you know, just kind of putzing around town, you can really sort of feel it, if that makes sense. And then when I take off here, let off the gas, you've got that blow-off sound is a lot louder now. It does have a hissing sound that's fairly constant. I don't know if you can hear it here. That was just at like a quarter throttle, just driving around town at 40 miles an hour here. So it is noticeable. It's not like you're gonna throw this on the car, and if you gave it to somebody that has no idea what's going on, they will notice. They will. You could give this to your grandma and she'd say something's wrong with the car. So it's not a stealthy mod. Like right there, that was pulling up a hill, it was under a little bit of load, you could hear it. Now, if you don't mind those noises, the hissing, the blow-off noise, any of that stuff, it's a very cool mod. It is. It's not too expensive. It's in the $200 range. It's not very difficult. Almost anybody could do this. I'm a big fan of it. I really am. For the price and for the performance, I think it's definitely worth it. ZZP has this in a number of different options. They have crinkle black, which we put on this, and they also have a gloss black. So far, absolutely no codes, no check engine lights on our stock vehicle. No, you don't have anything else done to the car as far as, you know, modifications, tuning, things like that. So it's bone stock. It's been on for a month. Not a single issue, not a single check engine light. The only thing I will warn is if you take this to the dealership, I'm not sure what'll happen. So I'm kind of nervous if we do have to have any warranty work done, if they'll be a little bit unhappy about this. So it might end up coming off and the stock may go back on if it ever makes a trip to the dealership. ZZPerformance.com is where you can get this. Definitely approved by Hoagie's Garage though, for sure. Super simple, super quick, and it is a noticeable change on your car, whether it's performance, sound, anything like that, and it just kind of cleans up your engine bay too. So thanks for watching. Hope the install video was helpful to you. If you do decide to get one of these, leave us a comment. If you have any questions on the install, let me know and I'll be glad to walk you through it. A lot more stuff coming up, so check us out, Facebook, Twitter. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and have a great day.